Good morning, friends! Welcome back to the video diary series. For those of you who don't know me, hello, my name is Eva Britton and I am a Christian college student in the performing arts. And recently I made myself a public Instagram in addition to my personal one in case you guys want to follow along with like little quicker updates than just the YouTube video diary stuff. I'm gonna try to figure out what that looks like. That's at Eva Lee Britton on Instagram, so check that out if you want to. Last I checked in with you, I was doing audition prep for some general auditions that I had and a callback that I was doing, and I had just finished directing Aristocats at this professional company in town. And now I've got my sights set on their teen production of Puffs. I am assistant directing for them, and so the team is a really sweet woman named Amy. She is directing, and then my friend Kira, who was an intern with me last summer, she's our stage manager. So she and I, it's the three of us that are making up like the main artistic team. And so today I'm gonna crank out some work on my to-do list today. Because we're doing like the adult production as the script we were given, like not the edited youth edition, there's some language in it and some suggestive dialogue and scenes and stuff. So I was communicating with Amy the other day about like, okay, how are we gonna approach that? Like, how are we amending it? And so I need to go through and make the correct edits in my script based on what changes she's requested we make. So that's step one. I'm gonna go through the script again and edit. Step two, this is one of those shows where in the original cast, it was a really small, like 8-person cast or something. And naturally in youth theaters, you have like a bunch of kids. So ours is around 20 something teenagers that we're working with. And so the way it worked in the off-Broadway cast is they had like a small cast of like 8 or so people that each took on like 5 or 10 different roles each. That are like these one-off characters that like have a couple scenes and then you never see them again. So they have it broken down in the script. Let me show you. This is my handy dandy script for Puffs. They have it broken down in the script. See, characters. For instance, let's look at that top guy. His main role is Ernie Mac, but he also plays a very tall man, Seamus, a certain potions teacher, Professor Turban, the ghost history teach, Professor Lockie, Mr. Nick, Sal, the second headmaster, and the real Mr. Moody. So that's like 10 characters that one actor played off-Broadway. In order to make it fair, and because we have so many kids, we want to utilize everyone, so everyone's gonna get one of these bit parts or probably a couple. So today I am gonna go through and make a variety of cast breakdowns for our production. So what that entails is I'm gonna go through and look at the casting types of each one of these tiny roles, their tracking, so like which scenes overlap where like, oh, these two can't be played by the same person because those two characters are on stage at the same time. And then kind of figure out before we go into casting the show so that we can just make it snappy and go through because we have one day to cast the show and get started on rehearsing. I'm gonna go through and make like a few different possible combinations of cast lists so that we can be like, we can choose on the day based on how the kids do in auditions, like, oh, this person could double as these roles that Ava listed out, and or we could do this combo where it's like, oh, does any of that make sense? It's really hard to explain. But basically, I'm gonna be doing like what they did here where they divvy out all of the millions of roles in the show. But instead of divvying it out across like the 8 actors they have, I'm gonna be divvying it out across 20 something actors. Yep, so that's gonna take up most of my day. As well as our director Amy has given me options of some scenes to direct, so I'm gonna go through, read those scenes again and see what blocking ideas I have for those scenes. As well as I have an audition this weekend. Woohoo, another one. Actually, it's a callback, so praise Jesus, that's exciting. It's my first callback with this company that I've auditioned for a couple times, so very excited about it. I also received a second callback with them for a different show. It was a general audition, so a couple of their shows. So I'm very excited. So I will also be working on audition prep for that as well. And we're going out of town soon for the 4th of July. I'm thinking this video should be like the prep and the beginning of Puffs and maybe like show a little bit of my callback 4th of July trip and then finishing Puffs. That's my hope. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, this is what I've been working on. So I color coded it just for funsies so we could tell. So first option was me just trying to figure out like if I split the actors in half based on this breakdown. Like I went through and I did some math where there's like 11 main actors that would split into different roles, and so we have 23 kids in the camp. So I went through and just kind of divided up the roles randomly. The second option is my personal favorite. It leaves the main named puffs as like that's their role through the whole show, with the exception of these two who have like extra little bit parts. And then over here everyone else gets a little more with like their one-off characters. They each have like 2 or 3, and then this one is the exact same as this, but I had this funny idea that I don't know how the director will feel about it, but there's a scene where it's like a puppet show of the Sorting Hat, and my idea was that we just have one person playing all 4 of the house heads and trying to do a one-man puppet show. But if she hates that idea, we can do this. But this one takes that concept of the one-man puppet show with this cast list, if any of that makes sense. Update, I need to be stopped. I forgot the power that spreadsheets have over me, and I've color-coded each of the possible cast breakdowns with the ideal gender of the actor portraying all of the tracks listed, which again, susceptible to change depending on who shows up, what their abilities are. As like for Aristocats, I was dead set on Edgar being played by a boy, and we ended up casting a girl because it just worked out that way. So this is all tentative, but also it just makes it look so much prettier. And I need to go touch grass.
Brain break equals snack break.
Random girls' night. We're going to the national tour of Beauty and the Beast. This is my little Belle Village dress outfit.
Sit with your bow.
Yes, I have a bow.
So cute.
Because I always have a bow. Good morning, friends. Happy Sunday. I'm about to head to church with the fam, and later today I have a callback I've been working on throughout the week, so feeling good about it. It's pretty straightforward in terms of vocal stuff, but there is a dance call and the possibility of an advanced dance call. And this is my first callback with this company, so I don't know where I stand in terms of like their bar of dancers, so I don't know if they'll ask me to stay for that or not. Either way, it is what it is. I also today want to figure out driving a rental car, because fun fact, I've driven the same minivan for the entirety of the time that I've been driving, except for when I was in driver's school, and then I drove like a car similar to the rental car I have right now. My van is in the shop right now, and Puffs starts tomorrow, so I obviously need a car to be able to drive downtown to the theater and that kind of thing safely every day. So I need to get used to moving from like a giant minivan that's super tall with big windows to a tiny sedan. So probably gonna practice some of that too. All right, it's well after church. I did some test driving with the rental car with my dad, and now we're like 30 minutes till I'm planning to leave for my callback. So it's primarily a dance call. So I'm in athletic wear that still shows my personality. Got a little white skirt, shorts, athletic thing, pink top, bow in my hair. I always like to wear a bow in my hair for auditions and callbacks because it's something I love to wear every day. And I feel like I like to just have a little signature thing for like, so they can remember like, oh, she's the one with the bow, you know? Like, anyway, so I will see you in a bit. At the studio like 20 minutes early. Thanks to my mommy for driving me to my adult audition. See you in a bit.
Quick update on Ava. She is still in her callback. She's been in there for an hour and a half. So I'm gonna say that maybe things are going well. I don't know. We'll find out. Never know how these things go, but I'm hopeful. So we'll see. Okay. I see some people coming out. Oh, here comes Ava. So let's see how she feels about everything. So she's been in there for a little over an hour and a half. She's smiling, I think. So let's see how she feels about things. Hi.
Hi.
How do you feel?
I feel really good. It was a hip-hop combo.
Oh, good.
Which is my thing, for those of you who don't know.
Yay! Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling them that you've been in there for like a little over an hour and a half.
Yes, for singing, and we did sing in front of each other.
Oh.
And then dance call, which was hip-hop, which is my favorite genre of dance. So
Yes.
And there was only like a handful of us that were like sopranos to do like the high soprano option. So I feel good about that.
Okay.
The people they kept, they're looking at for and so I was like, the dancer is like gymnast, so I knew I wasn't gonna be looked up for that, and is a bit saucy. So I was like, I didn't need to be looked at for it.
Yes.
And they were like, if you don't make it to that, it just means you're not being looked at for those 2 roles. It doesn't mean you're not in the show.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
I feel really good.
Okay, so I guess we'll wait and see. Did they give you any indication about
No.
per usual, right?
I bonded with a bunch of like the 40-year-olds.
Oh, nice. Well, good. Okay. We'll keep you posted.
Friends, it is bright and early for our first day of puffs today. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you really quickly what I'm bringing with me. I am making pasta at 6:45 a.m. because that's how I pack my lunch. I make pasta, put it in the fridge when I get there, and then heat it up at lunch. And then I'm also gonna make breakfast for myself in a second. Obviously, I have my purse, my director's script, or my director's notebook. I'm so tired. Puff script. And then I got my laptop, got some snacks. It's all in my handy dandy little bag. That is what we are doing. And I think as a post-auditions treat / pre-puffs treat, I'm gonna stop by Coffee Bean and get myself a vanilla iced coffee with a cream cap. I successfully drove the rental car downtown to the theater and got myself my coffee for the day. All right, finished the first day of puffs. We cast the whole show. We did part of a run through, and tomorrow we're gonna jump into blocking, hopefully the first year. So we'll see. Are you being a shadow? He's literally been like leading me at my ankles all morning. He's purring so loudly. Let the parents sleep, Bust. Let the parents sleep. Good morning, friends. So it's the second day for puffs, and I'm realizing this is the oldest group of kids that I've worked with in this capacity, where I'm like one of the leadership members, because the oldest, like the camp is from 12 to 17. I don't know, it's interesting. I always was a little concerned about doing a camp like that at the age that I am now, because I was like, they're gonna realize that I'm like very close in age to them, and that I'm not as qualified as I think I should be to do this. And I'm like remembering back to when I would have college-aged teachers and stuff do it for different theater things. I wasn't thinking like, she's barely older than me. I was thinking like, wow, she's so cool and she gets me. And so that's kind of how I'm feeling like at auditions and stuff yesterday. That's what I was kind of realizing, because Amy, our director, is around my parents' age, maybe slightly younger. Yeah, so it's just a fun dynamic to have like just like people with different stages of life all behind the team to help bring to life this show, and to work with. Again, I'm used to working with like young elementary kids and younger, and so it's really nice to have a pool of kids that are like experienced and like working around town doing different like little theater gigs and that kind of thing. It's just fun to see people that have had a little bit more experience, or if not, they've just had more life experience, and so you can just kind of jump right in. You don't really have to sugarcoat things with them. You can kind of just like level with them. So that's been fun. So let's head inside.
But make it nice and loud so we can hear it. Hey, I told you not to sneak up on me like that. Oh, and so you guys are sneaking on.
Okay, I have mirror people in mind.
Oh, perfect. Let's pause one moment. Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking Eliza for like Wayne's vision, like the lightsaber.
Perfect.
And then we could do Frankie with the math sign.
Perfect. Eliza and Frankie, we're going to have you be part of our magic mirror. So,
Xavier.
and Xavier. We need our Xavier also.
It's just the lightsaber, or it says he has a medal too. Are we not doing that? Just the lightsaber? I think that's funny.
Yeah.
It's day 3, woohoo! And yesterday we blocked way more than we expected. So today we're jumping into year 3 and year 4, which a good deal of I am blocking / choreographing before I fly out this time tomorrow to see my fam for 250th anniversary of America, woohoo! Look what they gave me today. A bunch of adult butter beverage. All right in my chair. Guess it's all mine. Hi friends. So finished with the first week of Puffs. Well, I still have 2 more days, but I am flying out of town tomorrow. So bright and early, now that we're about halfway through Puffs. And I'll see you guys for when we're in Tennessee with the fam.
Leave now, please.
Yay!
Ooh, nice one, Brian.
Bye, guys.
Good morning, friends. We're back at Puffs. It's been a couple days. Been kind of getting recalibrated with it. It's been Spirit Week. Today is Dress Like Your House Day, your Hogwarts house, and I'm a proud Ravenclaw. So I got my blue and my navy, and we're gonna go to the designer run today. I didn't even realize that Puffs, like that's the actual
Oh, I'm
brand.
sorry. I didn't realize you were taking a picture of this.
No, I was just looking at the whole props table because it's so funny. I
Isn't
love.
it crazy?
We switch headmasters halfway through, so this
says second
headmaster is
I
their
know.
signature. I love like the bumper sticker on the trainer wand.
Yes.
How dorky the birds look with the googly eyes.
Dude, the birds are my favorite. They bring
I know.
me so much joy.
This is Ron and Hermione, our favorite cast members. And over here looks much more Harry Potter-esque, but we got a lightsaber because of course. We got the Sorcerer's Stone, but it's not, it's just some red rock. And then Mr. Moody's eye.
Some red rock.
Yep. We got, these are the founders of Hogwarts. I mean, sorry, a certain school of magic and magic. Michael Jackson makes an appearance. Goblet of Fire props. Exactly. This is my emotional support prop. His head comes off, but we don't worry about it. He's just a little dog. This is our highlight of the day. They brought us Chick-fil-A.
Yay.
And also we're all Ravenclaws. Today's House Cup Day. The entire artistic team is Ravenclaws.
Cold in here. I agree with this. I know.
Y'all, there was a professional matinee of cats happening simultaneously in the theater with us while we were rehearsing, and a cat waved to me through the window and I screamed. I fangirled so hard. I love cats, including those cats. Good morning, friends. Today is our super long day of puffs before performance tomorrow. My typical schedule for puffs has been 8:30 is my call time, and then we're dismissed at like 3:30-ish to clean up after the kids are dismissed at 3. Today is basically doing all of tech week in one day, including QDQ and first dress rehearsal. So I'm called at 8 a.m. and we're dismissed at 5. So I'm working 8 to 5. Anyway, I wanted to show you this shirt that I got. Funny story, I ordered it for the 250th for the 4th of July this year. It said it wouldn't arrive till today. And I was like, oh man, and we flew to Tennessee to see the fam. And then I got an email saying, surprise, it was delivered like the day that we landed, which was like 2 days before the 4th, but it was delivered to here, not Tennessee. So I didn't get to wear it for the 4th of July, so I'm wearing it this week in honor of the 250th. She loves Jesus and America too. It's from Soul TT. It's a Christian company, so if you want to check them out, they've got some really cute graphic tees.
My name is Amy Garland. I am the director of the show, along with my assistant director, Miss Eva. I had the immense pleasure of spending the last 2 weeks with your young performers, and it was amazing. This was a little bit different than some of the other academies we've done. This is not a musical. It is a straight play, although it does have music, and there's a little bit of dancing, thanks to Eva.
Oh, I'm in the background filming. Goodbye, Ron and Hermione.
I miss you, Ron Mop.
Hello, friends. It is almost a week since we closed Puffs, and so it's given me plenty of time to rest, which I needed. I don't know what came over me. I just kind of crashed like the couple days following Puffs. I didn't realize how exhausted I was until then. And more importantly, it's given me time to reflect on the experience, which I always like to do, and to share kind of what I think God was teaching me through those different theatrical experiences that he's blessed me with. For Puffs, fun fact, that was my first time actually assistant directing. It made me a little bit nervous, kind of in the same way that Aristocats made me nervous, because I know the general idea of what a stage manager does, like the organizational stuff and like calling the show, and I knew that the director obviously directs the show, so that kind of left me wondering and panicking last minute going into Puffs, like, wait, so then what am I supposed to do? If you have someone who's blocking the entire show and doing everything storytelling wise that I did for Aristocats, and you have someone who's prepping everything for the director and making all the props lists and all the call sheets and everything, I was like, so what exactly does that leave me to do? And so I had to look it up, despite being 20 years old and being in this field for basically that whole time. I was like, wait, what does an assistant director do? And I even had friends who assistant directed like Romeo and Juliet and Bright Star this past year, and I could not think of how I would fit in as an assistant director for a kids camp where it's not as detailed as a full-length production would be. Thankfully, Amy, our director, was super collaborative and really wanted not just my opinion, but also Kira's, our stage manager, which was really incredible. And I think that was like the best team I could have had for my first time assistant directing something. Basically, what my job ended up being was taking notes, kind of as you saw, during rehearsals while Amy was taking the kids through the different blocking that she wanted them to have and kind of explaining things to them. It was on me to, I was kind of on like casting duty for a good deal of the show because there were so many bit parts, even outside of like the 50 given roles that we cast, such as like a delivery person to like just quickly walk on, hand a prop baby to someone and leave. So I had to sit there and like scope out people during the rehearsal process and be like, oh, they haven't done something in a while, they're being respectful and quiet, and oh, I think they have good comedic timing for this according to my audition notes, so let's give them this little extra added moment. things like that. That kind of became my job, to like be her eyes while she was able to just focus on directing. And beyond that, I was privileged enough to get to block a good portion of the show. Specifically, if you're familiar with Puffs, how it goes through the 7 years of these Hufflepuffs' time at Hogwarts, I blocked the beginning of year 4, which is like the Goblet of Fire, which is my personal favorite. Let me know your favorite Harry Potter book or movie in the comments. From the beginning of that year through to the first task, and when they ask people out for the Yule Ball, and the first task is the dragon scene. So basically a lot of like the fun, crazy stuff. Plus, I kind of had to find jobs for myself to do as well. Like a big deal of assistant directing that kind of helped me fall back into comfort of stuff I'm used to doing was just being available and making myself useful, which is just being there like, hey, would it help if I did this? Things that they don't even think of because they're busy doing the bigger, crazier stuff. Finding ways to make myself useful. Like I noticed, even though Puffs is a straight play, despite me thinking it was a musical until I read the script, there are a good number of like goofy, less than a minute song and dance numbers. I took it upon myself to basically be like the kind of choreographer for this show, like where it was needed. And like, so anything that was overtly physical, like lifts, fight choreo, regular choreo, that all kind of fell under my umbrella because I offered myself up to do that multiple times. I brought it up multiple times, like, hey, and help lead the kids through like the more physically strenuous moments of the show. Like the big battle sequence at the end ended up falling to me. God bless Amy. She's the one that mapped out the exits and entrances and the groups, and I just had to give them the fun stuff to do, which was fun, kind of working on the fly like that. Yes, I've also learned that working on the fly is something that I enjoy doing when it comes to the more physical stuff, and it's really nice when I don't have to map out the exits and entrances. So I just think it was overall a really great experience and a great learning experience. And it also taught me, now that we had an older group of kids, so many times I wanted to like give acting notes, which yes, you can do that as a director, but to a certain extent, I feel like. And this was the first show where I realized like, oh wait, these kids are old enough to like have their own instincts and character choices that they want to show off that are really good, and I need to let them explore those, because I remember being frustrated in youth theater myself when I was spoon-fed how to play a character, and I would butt heads with youth theater directors when I was like a young teen, because I had studied these roles, and I like really was adamant about like, okay, this is how I'd want to play the role, and then I would get the role sometimes and I would feel like I was being puppeted. I caught myself being tempted to do the same to our teens, and then I had to catch myself and be like, no, I'm not the actor anymore. I'm just the one making sure that things are safe and realistic, and like from a storytelling perspective, placement-wise, blocking-wise, making sure exits and entrances are consistent with when we're in the common room, when we're not, and all of this stuff. Yeah, I just think it was fascinating to learn a little bit about what it looks like to be an assistant director / director type over this summer, and I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity. So yeah, it's been a chaotic couple weeks here. I'm glad to have some time to just rest and to reinstate more time with Jesus. And yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed your summers so far. I hope everyone is staying safe. I will see you guys in the next video. Jesus loves you. Bye.